neighbor, and that is ungodly. That is not Christian. To be woke is a word that came out of the African American community.
The church has been consistent for 2,000 years that abortion is unacceptable, immoral. But who knows better? I guess Sonny Hostin redefines what is Christian.
All right, let's talk about Sonny Hostin's latest hot take on The View, because wow, this one is something else.
The conversations you and I have had, Whoopi, so many times about the co-opting of the word woke. And the fact that the right somehow has made it a dirty word. To be woke is a word that came out of the African American community, and it was about acknowledging social justice inequities, acknowledging people suffering. It is not a bad thing to care about other people, to care about the sufferings of others, and to act upon it.
She just came out swinging, boldly declaring that opposing wokeness is ungodly and unchristian. Yep, you heard that right.
And so I've never been asleep. And so it angers me when people are like, this woke stuff, it's got to go. That's telling me that you don't care about my lived experience. You don't care about the oppression of the LGBTQ community. You don't care about the oppression of the disabled. You don't care about the oppression of immigrants. You don't care about your fellow neighbor. And that is ungodly. That is not Christian.
In a time when even the most progressive people are quietly stepping away from the whole woke label because it's become more radioactive than ever, she's doubling down. And not just that, she's bringing God into it. So let's unpack this. Before we continue, I'd like to ask for a quick favor. If you're enjoying this content, please take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of our viewers watch without subscribing, and while it's free for you, it makes a world of difference to us. Have you hit that subscribe button? Awesome! Thank you so much for your support. Now, let's get back to the video. Sonny claims that wokeness, at its core, is about social justice, about recognizing and addressing suffering, about being a good person who cares about others. Sounds noble, right? But here's the problem. That's not how the word is used today. She's talking about the original definition, the one that started in the African American community as a call for awareness about racial and social issues. But that's not the reality of what woke means in modern discourse. Let's take a step back and ask the real question. What does it actually mean to be woke today? Because let's be honest, wokeness in 2025 isn't just about racial awareness anymore. At a bare minimum, it requires you to support things like abortion on demand and radical gender ideology.
Right. I don't think you could be called woke if you don't support abortion and so-called trans rights, right? So to be woke, at a minimum, there's a lot more that goes along with it, but at a minimum involves supporting the order of millions and millions of babies.
And Sonny, she's acting like rejecting this version of wokeness is the same as rejecting compassion and justice. But hold on a second. Does rejecting radical gender ideology mean you don't care about people? Does opposing late-term abortion make you heartless? Since when did basic morality get rewritten into a far-left manifesto? You have to be okay with the idea that children can transition before they even hit puberty. You have to be fine with the idea that men can become women by simply declaring it. And if you're not on board, well then you're the enemy. And here's where it gets interesting, because Sonny isn't just saying that rejecting these things is bad. No, she's going way further. She's saying that if you reject these ideas, you are ungodly and unchristian.
And that is ungodly. That is not Christian.
Read that again. Not only is she claiming that Christianity and godliness are the same thing, which, okay, fair enough, most Christians would agree, but she's also saying that to be a true Christian, you must support wokeness.
And she says that if you oppose those things, you are ungodly and unchristian. Even those two words placed together, she is equating godliness with Christianity. So she's saying Christ is God. She's saying Christianity is the true religion. But if you want to really be a Christian, if you want to really be godly, you have to really be a Christian. And if you want to really be a Christian, you have to oppose non-negotiable tenets of Christianity, moral dicta and anthropological teachings.
So let's get this straight. 2,000 years of Christian tradition, the teachings of Jesus himself, the writings of the apostles, the doctrines of the early church, the moral guidance of saints and scholars, all of it apparently takes a back seat to whatever Sonny Hostin thinks Christianity should be in 2025.
The church has been consistent for 2,000 years that abortion is unacceptable, immoral. But who knows better? 2,000 years of Christians, the succession of the popes and the bishops and the priests and Christians for millennia, or Sonny Hostin? No. I guess Sonny Hostin redefines what is Christian.
Because according to her, the church was wrong for the past 2 millennia, and she, Sonny, sitting on a daytime talk show, is here to set the record straight. And what about gender? Well, let's go all the way back to Genesis. Male and female. He created them. That's not some modern conservative talking point. That's literally the Bible.
We recognize that God created man, male and female created he them. It is immutable. It is defined at our conception, really, and that men and women leave their parents, the man and the woman cling to one another, they become one flesh, and they are told to be fruitful and multiply. And it's why Christians historically get married, stay married, can't get divorced, and have a lot of kids. All things that Sonny Hostin here is saying, no.
But nope, Sonny and the woke brigade say that's old news. Now, gender is a spectrum. Men can become women, women can become men, and kids should be put on puberty blockers before they even understand what their bodies are doing. And if you disagree, you're ungodly. So let's ask the obvious question, how did we get here?
How does she get there? I was with her when she equated godliness with Christianity, but then she seems to undermine both. Because leftism is Christianity without Christ.
Think about it. The woke movement has all the hallmarks of a religion. It has original sin, privilege. It has saints and martyrs, activists. It has blasphemy laws, misgender someone, and see what happens.
Wokeness and leftism is an outgrowth of this kind of puritanical view of Christianity, which has just one weird change to it, namely, they took out Christ. That's it. It's a perversion. It's an inversion. You know, it's proof of what Chesterton observed in orthodoxy, which is that when a religious scheme is shattered, when you take Christ out of Christianity, for instance, it's not just the vices that run wild, but the virtues that run wild. And the virtues actually run more wild because they're separated from each other and they do more damage.
And the craziest part, they're using Christianity's language to justify it. Sonny isn't just saying wokeness is good. She's saying that God is on the side of wokeness.
People are asking for a God without wrath to lead a people without sin into a kingdom without judgment through the ministrations of a Christ without a cross. That's what they want. That's wokeness for you. That's why we got to get rid of it.
Let's set the record straight. Christianity isn't a political movement. It's not about whatever ideology happens to be popular this decade. It's not about bending to cultural trends or rewriting moral teachings to make people more comfortable. Christianity has never been about that. It's about truth, eternal truth, truth that doesn't change just because society wants it to. So no, rejecting wokeness does not make you unchristian. In fact, I'd argue it's the opposite. Standing up for life, for reality, for the truth of how God created us. That's what being a Christian actually is. Now, of course, the woke crowd won't see it that way. They've already made up their minds. To them, morality isn't about God or scripture. It's about whatever they decide is morally right at any given moment. You can't just declare that Christianity now endorses everything it has always condemned. Truth doesn't work like that. So no, rejecting wokeness isn't ungodly. It's the opposite. And if that upsets Sonny, well, maybe she should take another look at the book she's claiming to represent.